Okay, so good afternoon, everyone. We will continue today's session. So last time we were getting some error, I believe, and it was actually a really simple error that we wanted to do was. So I will continue from there onwards. It takes some time. Okay, again, so every time we start a project, what we wanted to do was we want to activate our that is virtual environment. So the name of virtual environment was project. The scripts, and then we want to activate, right? Sometimes, as I have said, if it is not working, you might have to say source and change this black slash to forward slash. Okay, and you can also do this. You only want to do this when when this thing is not working. Okay, and mostly when you are on, let us say, remote server, or let us say a remote Amazon EC2 instance, or let us say when you are using Linux, you might have to do this command. We have already gone over it. So for today, what the error was? So first thing was that NDIF was not working. So actually the problem was that there was a syntax error. So if I go here, then you can see this is my syntax. So it will be percentage sign. Okay. And if, and then it will say field. Remember the name is spelling of field FIELD dot help underscore text. And then give a space, then again percentage, and then close the curly brackets. And then you want, what you want is you want to again just say and if. So this is the basic I would say syntax of and of like and if. We made a mistake in syntax last time. And next thing that I wanted, next problem was that again the redirect was not working because again we, the syntax was wrong. Okay, there was a spelling mistake in the redirect, which is right here. And this one. Yeah. So this, that is return redirect, and then we wanted to say was home. That is the name of the URL that we have given. So this was one of the mistake that we had made. And next was that you saw that order was not actually visible in the database. And the problem was that because we were not saving the orders. So I made this order, and then we created this, like we were calling the order class. And in the order class, we had username, order message, and then orders. Then what we wanted to do was we wanted to save the orders, right? And if we do that, then and only then it will be appearing in the, that is MySQL database that we had created. So we have done that. And second thing that I wanted to do was in the base.html that we have, right? So in the base.html, we have if user dot is authenticated, then I wanted to show the name of user and logout. But if it is not authenticated, then I wanted to show login and sign up. Correct. So I have used the same like same concept of this in the orders.html, and I have said that if user is authenticated, then I wanted to show the order button. But if user is not authenticated, then I want to show the login button with URL of name login. Correct. So so I think this will be enough, right? So now let's see if our program is fixed, and like our web application is fixed. Then all I wanted to do was Python manage.py run server, and it will give me error because my MySQL server is not working. I have to go to XAMPP. Start the MySQL server. Let me start the Apache server so that I can control the PHP MyAdmin. So it has started. It has not given me any errors. Python manage.py server. Okay. And it is running on 127.0.0.1. And the port is okay. So currently I'm not logged in. I'm getting login and sign up, and I'm also getting some information. I have the order page and I'm getting the button of login. Correct. I can say add to cart. The item in cart will change. In the order page, I will get this information. I can remove an item. I can write a message. Again, it will say login. Now, if I like login, or let us say if I register, this should be converted to like order after I have like logged into the application. So I will click on login. It will say login. So first time, what I will do is I will use super user account that I have created. I will say login. Okay. So now you can see it says home order item in cart one. Remember we had removed one item and it will say welcome name of the user and then I have a logout button. That was the if else statement, right? And I can again add another item. It will change and in orders page I have order now functionality. I can say like extra, let us say cheese, and then I can say order now. I have got order received. You have ordered, correct? And here I can check. It says the name of order, extra cheese, and then the name of user. If I go to the admin panel, correct? So admin. Remember, I have already logged in to this application. That is why it didn't ask me for a password. I have food. So here I can see like food objects. I have added pasta and burger. In the order, what I will do is if I go to order, now I have this. So in the afternoon, I had checked this if it is working or not. So I got like order message, no cheese, and then this. And now you can see it says username, yes, order that we have written and the orders, right? Next thing that was not working was that help function, right? It was saying that there is a syntax error. So we have also fixed that. So if I just log out and if I go to sign up, now it says required 150 character or fewer. So this information is printed by the Django itself, correct? That is because we have this function here. That is field.help text. If I remove it, it will be removed. But for now, I want to keep it. So let us say if I give a new username of Yash1 and I will give let us say email of Yash.in, like Yash1 @Yash.in, and then I can say Yash password. I can give anything, right? Again, password confirmation, and then we can press enter. Uh, Okay, I think it already exists. The user is already existing, so that is why there might be some issue. Okay. Now let me think of a user. Let us say admin account, and then I can say admin @yes.in, or the same admin, and now I will say password. Password I can give any password that I want. I will click sign up. After clicking on sign up, because the user was already existing, now I have created a new user called admin, correct? So now it has successfully redirected. The redirect is working also. And if I go here, admin is asking me because I am logged out, so it will not show it to me. So users. Yeah. So I had Yash1 already existing. That is why it was giving me an error. I have admin account, so I will just copy the username. Okay, but remember, Yes account is only the staff status. That means I am the only one who can check this information. Other people will not. We have already seen this in yesterday's session where I was logged into different session and it was giving me an error that you have logged into an account that is not a staff account. So again, this admin is also not staff account, although I can change it. So if I go here and then I can make it staff user or let us say super user. Okay, so I can just click on it and then I can say save. That will change the privilege of the user. I can also delete this particular user. Correct. So I can manage user accounts as well as there is something called as groups. Okay, so there is something called group. I can also create a group of users. So let us say I can create a group of staff users. I can create a group for the regular users also. But we will not be dealing with those groups. You will probably be not needing it. And if you are needing a group, there is probably another team which is managing the groups and user for you. Okay, so you don't have to worry about that as a developer. But there might be chances. So you just need to say add, and here it will ask me like available permission. Let us say I want a user to make changes, like he can add food, right? So that I can have a team member in my team whose task will be only and only one thing, that is whenever he is able to log in into the admin account, he can only and only add the food data inside my database. Other than that, he cannot do anything. So I can do that. I can give it a name and then I can add the users to group. If I go to users and admin account, and here I can I have the group section. I don't have any group, that is why it is not showing me. But if I add a group, I just need to click on this button. It will be in this group, and then I just need to save it. Then that user will have that specific privilege, right? But you don't have to worry about it. Don't care about these things, because if something like this is happening, probably the management team, or let us say someone who is managing your project, the project manager will be changing this kind of things, or he might tell you to change this thing. But this kind of things are happening only when the team is collectively having saying that yeah, this should be done. So for now, we have the admin account. I will just copy the username because again, I have made a typo mistake. So I will say login. Now, because I have logged into yes in the admin, that is why it is saying me, telling me the logout. But I can simply log out and then I can say login, admin, and the password was, I can say login, and it will say welcome admin account. Correct. And again, if I try to access admin, it will say you are not authenticated as admin account, but you are not authorized. You are authenticated as admin account, but you are not authorized to access this page. Correct. So even if let us say there is a user who is able to go to admin page, and we can also change the URL of admin, as I said. So I can just give it a new URL, a URL that normal person will not be able to guess, so that not everyone can visit the admin, and also we can have settings like this. Correct. Again, I can order and it will be visible inside the orders database that we have created. So let's just order this 3 item, and then I will not give any message. It will say that order received, and I can go for admin. Here, I can just log in into staff account, that is yes. In the orders tab, it will say admin account, and there is no message, so it is not showing me any message, and it says order all the orders that I have made. So this was the food order application. So again, if I want to go over this application to explain you how everything is working. So basically, in this application, what we were able to do is I can let user come to my website, check out the items that I have in my database on this URL. That is when the user visits my website. I can make a user sign up and create a user account where user cannot access the admin account, and then I can log in the user. I can have a logout functionality, and then I also have order functionality where I can get list of orders. On the success, I will show that order is completed. And in the database, I have three tables. That is a user table where I can get the list of user. Then I have a food table where I can add the food item, and then I have order table where I can get list of orders that have been made. Correct. So things that are not available in the project are, let us say, payments gateway, right? So payment gateway is something that you want to authorize yourself, and it is like, not something that we would like to add in a prototype website. So this website was basically prototype. So what happens is that on the day when you must have learned that how to choose a product, right? And then we went over all the basics, like sir explained it really well, like what kind of product you want to choose, and then the specification will come to the development team. That is, let us say I am in the development team. Then from there onward, development will start. We will decide what features we want in our website. Then we will start developing the website. First, we will choose like what framework we want to use. We had already selected that we would like to make this project in the Django. So that is why we have started in the Django and HTML and Bootstrap for the front end. Correct. After that, we will decide how the website will look like, how it will behave. And then we will be like, after the prototype is done, we can either deploy it, or we can like make a GitHub account and say that I want to host my code on the GitHub account. Correct. From that GitHub account, now because I have a prototype, this particular project that we have, it is a functional product that can like act as a full order website. But if I want to get, let us say, complete website, then there are a lot of changes that can be done. Let us say UI changes. So UI changes is not something that we can like directly do in, let us say, 2-hour session. 2 hour will only take for my, let us say, if I am a team. So I was making a project where in that project I had to decide how the UI will look like. Correct. Me and my team were deciding how the UI will look like for around 1 and 2 hours. Correct. We decided how things will look. We created a prototype, and then we created a simple design based on the prototype, and then we made changes. Just working on UI will take you around 2 to 3 weeks. Easily, it will take you 2 to 3 weeks if you want to perfect your UI. If you want to perfect your backend, it will simply take you like 1 or 2 months for this kind of website, or easily, because there is not just one thing that you are doing. Like we have done only one thing, that is developing a website. But in actuality, every time you create a URL, every time you create a view, there is a testing team who will be performing manual testing, automation testing on your let us say view or URL. They will be filing bugs where you can say that this bug I will fix it later. For now it is not important. I will also have functionality to say that this we will only have this much functionality. Correct. Okay, sorry, I am having some internet issue. So it is a really long procedure in creating a product that can be delivered to a client, that we can say that this is a completed product, right? This is a product that we can deploy and tell everyone that this is the functionality of my product, and then I will be improving it. Because just if you look at the UI, there are a lot of changes. On the day number 2, we had created a UI using Bootstrap, right? But in the actual project that we have created, the UI is not there, because it will take a lot of time to develop it, right? But you already got the idea of how to do this thing, correct? Because we have already created a UI in Bootstrap, and we have also seen how to use JavaScript to do some functionality. So if you just go over the JavaScript training session that we had conducted, as well as the yesterday's training session where we were working with the JavaScript, not yesterday, day before yesterday, that was so that was 17. On the 17, we had created a JavaScript functionality. You just have to see it. You will be able to take your project to the next level. Second thing is that for the Django itself, create yeah, so create test, and what we can do is we have function and classes, right? So we can create test for that and check the code. We can check the how much time it is taking, or let us say we can also make the performance changes. Just in this code only, we can make a lot of changes, like from security wise, as well as from the, let us say, how well we want to make our website function. All of these things can be changed, but this is not something that you should care about right now. We have created a prototype that we can deploy. That is matter, right? It is just in, like, 10 days we have done this. This is a product that you can, like, show on your resume. You can go and talk about this in your interviews. This is that kind of product. But when it comes to like company level product design, it will take a lot of time. It will probably take a lot of research, correct? Because I have created this UI, but let us say our clients are not liking this UI. Let us say also clients are also liking it. But when you deploy this and when the general public are started using it, right? That is when the problems arise, because you always had to develop a website with the thinking that, let us say, a user will do anything. He can do anything, correct? I don't mean to say about functionality, but how he is operating the web app. If he is like clicking the website, or let us say there are some people who are using browser console to do some things, right? There are browsers which you can only access using your keyboard and things like that. So you want to check all of these things, but some of these things are not coming under your development. Testing team will do it. So making a product is a really long process, but you should be able to create a prototype, because the thing is that let us say I'm creating a product. If I'm like, I don't know where to start, then there will be a problem. So I need to know where to start. Sorry, I'm disconnecting. So you should know where to start, right? Programming, or a lot of you may not have get everything that we are doing. You might not have understood, right? But the problem is that if you don't do it yourself, you will not understand anything, right? That is how it is. In a math problem, let us say you are doing mathematics and I give you a problem of integration and differentiation. If you don't solve that problem yourself and I just tell you how to do it, you will be unable to solve the problem, right? Programming is just like that. You need to practice on your own. And second thing is that in a programming is like big math problem, where you are starting from somewhere. There are three scenarios. You might get an answer. You might get half answer. Let us say you are proving something, you are able to prove half. Later part two, you are not able to prove, the answer is wrong. Third is you might don't know what to do and answer is wrong, right? In programming, select what product you want to build, then start building the product. See if the product prototype, the first release, so I can say that this is the version number 1 of my website, correct? See if version one or number 1 is deliverable, client can accept it, and it is usable. People can create their account and do some functionality on your website. That is well and good, correct? But there is lot of things that you can do later on. So just understand that you need to practice this. So we will go over one more time of the project. We will be try to understand how everything worked, right? So that it is easier for you to create this project, because we will not be having time to go over the project again tomorrow, because tomorrow there is one problem that I wanted to share with you. So in the I wanted to deploy this website today on Heroku, right? What it will do is you will get an URL that I can share with you, and you will be able to go over that URL and you can use the website that I have created. Also, you can create your own website and you can deploy it yourself, and you can share your URL with me, or let us say your team member, to tell them this is how you have created the project and they can use it. Problem is that in Heroku, previously it was not asking for a payment method, but now it is asking for a payment method. So if I click on it, then it will say account does not have a credit card, right? So what you wanted to do is you need to add credit card. But there is some problem, that is I have a debit card, I don't have a credit card, right? So, and my credit card is like not available for the international payment. So you need a credit card which has international payment available. So basically, all of us will not be able to use it because you might not have a credit card that has international payments available, right? It will only cost you, I think, around 2 rupees. That will be refunded to you again to, like, check the credit card information. But the problem is that it is asking for it, so we will not be able to use it. Second thing I wanted to do was, if Heroku is not working, second thing I thought was I will create an AWS account, but that also asks for like credit card, right? And all of you may not have it. So what I will do is I will find a free service where we can deploy the Django. There is a free service of Netlify, I think. Yeah. So I checked this Netlify, like this Netlify I have. So basically what I can do is I can create a Netlify account because I have not used Netlify before. But it is really easy. I asked one of my team member who is working with me. He told me that it is really easy. What you need to do is you need to create an account and then simply follow some procedure to deploy your Django website, and it allows you to deploy the Django website. So this is kind of like alternative of Heroku. So tomorrow I will be like not registered today because I have already registered with my account to check it. But the problem is that I want to show you guys how you can create the account and how you can deploy it, right? So tomorrow, make sure that you have your emails ready, right? Because you will be needing an email. And today I will show you how to create a GitHub account, because when you are signing up in this sign up, it will ask for your GitHub account, correct? So today we'll be creating the GitHub account, and tomorrow using that GitHub account, we will be like uploading our Django website, because GitHub account is needed if you want to deploy your website, right? So we will have to start from creating the GitHub account, and we'll be learning what is Git and GitHub. That is really important. It doesn't matter which like you are in DevOps, you are in cloud, you are in Python, C++, Java. It doesn't matter if you are in mobile app development or web development, you should know Git and GitHub. This is like a basics that everyone should know if you are working anywhere near development or even testing, right? Because if you don't know GitHub, you will be unable to work within a team, right? GitHub is something that allows you to work in team. So today we will be looking at some of the things that I wanted to share tomorrow, like explain tomorrow. But today we will be looking the basic of Git and GitHub, and then we will be looking at how to create a GitHub account, how to host our code in the GitHub account. So that what I will be doing is I will share my code with you. You guys need to download that code and host it on your GitHub account, right? So that tomorrow we can deploy that code. And then when like after the training session is over, you can create your website on your own, right? You can make some changes in the UI based on what you have understood. And let us say if you are doing some research on your own on the bootstrap, you are learning on your own, because that is the point of this training session, that you should be able to follow the documentation and learn on your own. As I said, I was working on a project where I didn't have any video lectures on a specific framework, or let us say specific thing that I was working on. I had to follow documentation. So it is a skill that you should learn how to follow the documentation. I will provide you with the documentation. You can follow it. You can make changes. You can create your own website, deploy it using Netlify. And I will be also showing you what is the difference between web hosting servers and like cloud servers and PHP servers that I have. Tomorrow we will also create a small PHP website, so that you have also have like experience in building a website that doesn't use a framework, because we have been working with framework. Tomorrow we will be making a website that doesn't use any framework, right? So we'll be also looking at those basics, so that tomorrow we'll only have two things to do, that is the actual deployment of Django and creating PHP. So today we will be concluding most of the stuff, and tomorrow we will be basically deploying both of our websites, PHP and Django. We will be explaining it, and then we will be concluding this training session. So for now, we cannot use it because I have it. So I will be using Netlify. So coming to the project. So basically what we have is Let me just do this. Yeah. So now you can see I have food order home, food order project, food orders, project, static, templates, MySQL, SQLite 3, manage.py, and my MySQL. So how this is working? First, what we did was we created a virtual environment. Now remember these steps because when you will be creating this project, you will be needing these steps. So if possible, I also want you to note down these steps somewhere. So you can take your books and pen and start noting down. I will wait for 10 seconds so that you can take down your notebooks, right? And even if you are not able to write it on the notebooks, I will also provide you with the written, documentation. So just 5 seconds, then we will continue. Okay, so I believe all of you are ready. So first thing that you want to do is first thing is downloading Python. We saw how to download Python, making sure that Python is in your virtual environment. Correct. Open a command prompt CMD, search for Python space hyphen hyphen version to check if Python is installed on your system. Also check pip space hyphen hyphen version to check the pip is installed. Then say pip install virtual env. Pip install the name of package is virtual env. Then after the virtual env is installed, say virtual env, name of the environment that you want to do. In our case, the name of environment is project. When the virtual environment is created, you will get lib and script and git ignore and pyvenv.cfg. That is configuration file for the virtual environment. Inside script, we have activate, just a file name with name activate. You want to activate the virtual environment. So dot, then forward slash, name of virtual environment. In our case, it is project slash scripts and then slash activate. In Linux or other system, you want to say source and then give the path to activate. It will activate it. You can say deactivate to deactivate it, but you can again activate it again. But just in case if you want to deactivate it, you can say deactivate. You can have n number of virtual environment in your system and use whatever virtual environment you want based on project. So every time just change the name of virtual environment. So slash instead of project, you can say DENV or food ENV to change the virtual environment. Correct. Check what are the packages that are pre-installed in the virtual environment using pip list. Okay. Okay, we will just create a file, readme.md. So this is a markdown file. Again, it is really important to learn how to write markdown because whenever you want to, let us just share some document with your team, it is good idea to use a PDF or markdown so that whatever you are writing is going as it is. It is not like, changing, or let us say there is some problem with the font or something, then it is still visible on the other person's system. So if you say hashtag and then give, let us say name, write something steps, press enter, it will become H1 tag, right? If you say double hashtag, it will be H2 tag. So this is like some syntax, basically same as HTML. You can again use HTML elements in the .md file to write HTML tags, and this HTML tag will work. So steps first will be to install. To install Python. Second will be like check Python and pip in system env. Then check Python pip and pip version. Fourth thing you wanna do is you want to install virtual env using pip install virtual env. Fifth thing you want to do it after installing virtual env, you want to check the packages. You can do that by so it will be check pre-installed packages using pip list. Second will be to in virtual env, like let us say I'm calling it venv. So that will be, yeah. So in virtual env, what you want to do is pip install Django and MySQL client. because we are using MySQL, remember. And then you want to start project. Then let us say name of project, right? Okay, it is treating as a HTML tag. So I will say that name project. How you will do that? You will do that by Django admin, right? And then you want to create the application. How you will do that? You will say like Python manage.py and then start app, then name of app. So now there is some differences that we have already discussed, but I will discuss again. If you say Django admin start product name of project, it will create a project with the same name. It will create a directory with the same name. Then it will create another directory inside that directory with the same name. So you have to do cd, then the name of project, and then you will be able to access manage.py. But you can do manage.py and then dot to create like food order project inside the same directory instead of creating a new directory with the same name. Manage.py will be on the same folder as the food order directory. Then you can skip the cd part, change directory part. Right. Second thing you want to do is, so after creating the project, you want to go to settings.py, right? And you want to change databases, templates, and static. So in database, you want to say MySQL. In template, you want to say use the base directory. And in statics also, you want to say use root directory and use base directory. That is the base directory, root, right? We have seen how to do this, right? And if I go here, settings.py, then you can see I have databases. It says Django DB backend MySQL, name of the database, user, password, then the host. If localhost is not working for you, then you can say 127.0.1, right? I will keep it localhost for now. Right. So you can also do that. Again, this is some of the common mistakes that people get. Like, sir, localhost is not working. Then you simply need to say 127.0.0.1, because on every system that we install, the localhost is always 127.0.0.1. So if the word localhost is not working, you are going in your web browser, and when you are like typing localhost, right, and it is actually not working, and it is like searching in Google, right? So this kind of issue can be easily resolved if you say 127.0.0.1, and in the web browser you also say 127.0.0 instead of saying localhost, right? So this kind of issues can be easily resolved. I just wanted to go over this so that you don't get this kind of issues when you are creating the project. Else, what will happen is that you sometimes people, when they get error, they just stop. They don't even continue. So I just going over the error that you might get and how to fix it. So if the localhost is not working, then what you need to do is you need to say that 127.0.0.1. Okay, and in the browser also type that code. Type that URL only. After setting, you want to create a view inside your app. So create view. Okay. After creating the view, you want to go to URL. Okay. You can create a URL inside order.home and then link that URL inside your main project urls.py. Or you can skip this part and go to your, let us say, project URL. Right. So project URL and give the URL here. Right. What you will be doing is you will be importing the view. You can say as to give it a proper name, and then you just want to say that food order view dot name of function, give it a URL and then give it a name so that you can access it when you are working with the templates. You can create as many view you want. You can add the URL, but in the URL, what will happen is that URL will render some template, right? Okay, it will render some template. What you can do is we have gone for template. We have created a template. You can either create subfolder or you can skip the subfolder part. You can just place them in the main directory, create templates and render it inside the URL. And when the user visit your website on the particular view, on the particular URL, it will fetch that view and that view will render the template and it will show the data, right? But how you will get the data? You need models to connect to DB, right? After you have connected to DB, you want to pass model data in view, and then from view, it will be passed to templates, right? We have seen how this works. So let me just open anything. So I have this, and here it says that, okay, I'm using JavaScript in this one, but I can say, yeah. So I'm using template and it says orders, right? The orders where the order was saved. When I got the order data from my front end to the back end, I saved it in the model and I also in the view itself. So full order view, you can see I have this data, right? That is this data. I am giving this data back to the template, right? And if I go to this one, then you can see, yeah. So I'm giving the food data back to the template, right? So this food's information is stored in my model, right? I'm importing the specific model from model food, and then I'm saving it in this variable, and then I'm creating a dictionary. I'm saying that food URLs key will hold the information of foods that is in the model, and it is being sent to the specific template, that is index.html, right? If I want, I can say food. I can say food object all in the sign up and show the food information in the sign up also. Correct. So remember these things. Model will have database connection, and then if you want to give the model data to the template, show to the front end, you have to go through view. Second is to add JS and images or any static file, store them in static directory. Storage static directory. Okay, we have created a static directory. We have JS and image. Okay, and we are using template like curly braces and percentage sign, and then we are saying static, name of static. To load it, we want load static, right? So remember these things. This is entire development process in the Django. Really simple. We summarize everything into the 15 steps. Entire Django project can be built in the 15 step, but there are sub steps like when we are actually creating the project, right? So let's just go over it. So what we did is we created two apps, home and orders. In the application one, what I'm handling is main front end page of my web application, sign up and login. In food orders, I'm handling actual orders and the success page. In I have created views in both of the application. I'm importing those views in the UNS.py. I'm giving some endpoint. I have created models for food inside food order home. So I have this model, right? I have created the food model in the food order home because I want to show this model information inside food. But even if this model is in the, let us say, food order, I can import it, right? I can just simply say dot or models import name of the class, right? That will import it. But to keep everything organized, I can make model inside every app. So I'm creating other model inside the food order where I'm handling orders, right? What I'm doing is I'm importing that model, giving the model information into the view, rendering it to the template. From template, whatever information that I'm getting, I am just simply saving it back to the model. Where I have done this is here. I am saying that form.save. So whatever information I'm getting from the save, I'm saving it. And here also, so view order, view whatever order I'm getting from the like front end, username, message, order, I'm just saving it back to the orders model. Correct. Everything is done. I can go to URL of my page. I will have a view. I will have data from the model rendered to the template. I can go to second URL, order food. It will information will go back to server. Server will save that information, return me some confirmation. That's it. Yeah, sorry, I got disconnected. Right. So I think this shouldn't be hard for you if you want to create this project. Right. We have basically summarized this. Now we will go over to the Git and GitHub, where we will be hosting this code onto the GitHub repository where you guys can access this code today only. Okay, so that you guys can check out your code yourself. Tomorrow you will be deploying it. So we'll go to let us say this edge. Let it load for a second, and I will see that if I have logged into any account. Yes, it looks like I have logged in. So to create a GitHub account, what you need to do is you need to go to github.com. Okay, so this is authorization. Okay, so go to github.com. All of you, if you don't have GitHub account, please create a GitHub account. A lot of you may not have it. Some of you may have if you are in university. There are a lot of chances that you will have account, but still, it is just a simple process. I will say sign up. Yeah, so it is asking for my email. I will just get an email. So this email is not my official email. I'm just using it. So I will say continue. If it says check, that means this you are registering for the first time. Create a password. So ABCD is not working. I will choose a username. I will go for simply this. Yeah, this is available. And I will say yes, why. So I will say create account. Okay, it is asking for a captcha. Yeah, continue. And we will say yes. Okay, so let's go ahead to identical object. So basically it is this one. Second is this one. Okay. So now I will say create account. Okay. Okay. So now it will ask you some questions, but skip it. And that's it. You have created your GitHub account. Now there are few things that I want to cover regarding GitHub. So before we continue, yeah, so I wanted to cover this also. So yesterday we have talked about the cross for site forgery attack, right? So just let's look at the definition of what it is. Remember we had CSRF token. See, CSRF token. I have talked about this. Like you want to initiate a token so that to confirm, like you don't get attacked by this kind of thing. So let's look at it. So cross-site forgery is an attack that forces authenticated user to submit a request to a web application against which they are currently authenticated. CSRF attack exploit the trust of web application has in an authenticated user. Yeah. So conversely, like cross-site scripting attack exploit the trust a user has in a particular web application. A CSRF attack exploit a vulnerability in a web application if it cannot differentiate between requests generated by an individual user or a request generated by a user without their consent. Right. So what happens is that let us say there is a response cycle. So attackers can make request to the web servers, triggering it that it is an authenticated user. So every time we have like this CSRF token, every time you make a request to the server, it initiates a token. And then the web application also checks if the token is correct or not. And based on that, it says that this connection is I can say that trusted. And in our code, we are also doing things like this. So if I go to it, I'm saying that request session set expiry to 0. That means the moment my request and response cycle is over, I want to make sure that this particular request response session is expired, so that attacker cannot keep doing some exploit in my application. So keep these things in mind. They are really simple things that you should know, right? So just use CSRF token every time you are logging in or you are like signing up a user. So second is, yeah, so it is Git and GitHub. So basically Git is a popular version control created by Linus Torvalds in 2005. So basically Linux is also created by the same person, that is Linus Torvalds, and it has been maintained by the Junio Hamanu, right? So like when it was created, it can track the code changes. So now imagine something. So if I just open my page. Right. So I hope that everybody can see this. So what is happening is that, so let us say you are one developer. Okay. So you are one developer and there is another developer. Okay. Okay. So this is like basically my dev one, and this person is basically my developer two. Now they are actually both working on the same application. Okay. And let us say food order map. Food orders app. Okay. Now, if let us say there is a bug in my code where the developer one has found out that there is a bug and he cannot fix it. Developer two says, I can fix it. Developer three also said, I can fix that bug. But what I will do, which code I will be using. So what I had to do was I had to share my entire file. Let us say you are the other developer. I am developing the application and you are also developing the application. If I want to share this code with you, what are the ways of sharing this? Way number one, I can simply just copy paste my files and share it with you in a pen drive, or let us say Google Drive, making a zip of this folder. That is this folder. I can make a zip of it and share it with you. But what are the other ways to share this code? Like, only the code itself, so that developers can work on the same application, developer number 1 and 2. We can use GitHub. We can upload our code in the GitHub. And then what we can do is, every time we make a changes, like both of the developer can make the changes, we can decide whose code I want to have in my application. So I have a web application. I have a file of view.py. And developer one is also working on the view.py. Developer two is also working on the view.py. But developer one is creating a function for order. Developer two is creating a function for success, right? Then how I can merge that code? Okay, so these are the things can be done using Git and GitHub. You can create, you can work on same file. Two different people can work on same file using the two different version of the file, and then we can decide which code I want to merge in my main, let us say, project. Okay, this is how working with team is really possible. Let us say there is a lot of people in your team. You can specify who will work on which page, who will work on URS.py, who will work on view, who will work on models, right? And then you can merge it. Same people, like two different people can also work on the same document. And then we can decide which document I want in my website, on my website, right? So you'll be seeing how this can be done. So basically they are both like working on the same page, okay? And he's also working on the same page. There is a specific document, like let us say specific feature that they are working on. And I found that developer one is like, code is working as expected. Okay, then what I can do is I can basically push dev one code in main. I can, we use term branch. So there is a branch of main and development branch. Main will be basically what is deployed, what the end user can, like, the code which is making it possible for end user to see your website. Development environment is something that only developers can work on. And when it is good and when it is like everything is working, I can merge the development and main branches and update the code. Okay, so you'll be seeing how these things are possible, how it can be done. That is why I said it is really important to know Git and GitHub, to understand Git and GitHub, and you will see that it is actually really easy. I will show you some of the commands that you can get, and you will be able to like start working on Git from today onwards. So what does Git do? Git manages project with the repository, clone a project to work on local copy, and control and track changes with staging and commit. So basically the project that you have. So here it says create a repository, right? Repository is basically like this directory. Let us say my repository is food order app, and these are the folder inside that directory, right? So you can just think of it as the folder. But I can have another food order app with the same name, and it will exist like on the same directory, but it will not be visible to the regular user because it like belongs to the different branch. Like hidden files in Windows, you have hidden files, right? So if I like create a directory, say dot and the name, it will create a hidden file that other user cannot see, but it exists. Next thing is like staging and committing. So every time we make changes, we stage that changes, that it is like ready to commit. When I make changes in my file, I can say I can stage that. I can tell the Git that yeah, this is done. I want to commit it, so I have to stage it, and then I can commit that to the main project where that code will be visible and my website will be updated. So that is committing. Like I am updating my code, and staging is like I'm confirming that yeah, I am ready to commit. I'm ready to commit. So that is the staging. Sometimes what happens is you want to commit something, but you don't want to stage it, right? So let us say you made some changes in your file. Let us say you have written 7 lines of code, and you have like said, this is well and good, I want to stage it. You stage that. Again, you have written 3 more lines of code, but you are saying that, no, I don't want to commit it. Then if you commit it with a specific like -a view, but I will show you how that works. So what you can do is you can, without staging that particular code change, you can commit it on a main branch, right? But it will still be visible to you. And then working with it, like initialize the Git on a folder, making it a repository. Then Git now creates a hidden folder to keep track of changes in that file. And then when the file is changed, add or deleted, it is considered as modified. You select the modified file you want to stage. The stage file are committed, and when the prompts get to store a permanent snapshot of the file. Okay, which prompts they get to store a permanent file. Like it will say that yeah, so this is the permanent file that I want to make it visible. Git allow you to see full history of every changes. So even if you are like, making Git changes on every line of code, you can see every line of code that is changed on your file. So why Git? Over 70% of the developer use it. It is free and open source. That means everyone can use it for free. It is under the GNU license that is free for everyone. There is also like these are the platform for Git, that is GitHub owned by Microsoft. There is Gitbucket and there is GitLab, which is again an open source alternative of GitHub. Then what is GitHub? This is the most really important to learn GitHub, because mostly everyone is using the GitHub. Even your college practicals or something will be using GitHub. It is not same as GitHub. GitHub makes tool for your tool that uses the Git, right? So it is a GUI that uses Git to perform something. GitHub is large host of host of source code in the world, and it is owned by Microsoft since 2018. In this tutorial, we will be focusing on Git and GitHub. So first is like get started. So basically you can download the Git. I want everyone to download the Git. So you can go to this website, git /scm. Okay. And then just say download for Windows. When you click on it, you want to select 64-bit bit Git for the Windows setup. Because if you are on 64-bit, you want to see 64-bit. Standalone is like it will install it on your system. Okay, it will be installed in program files. Portable is like you will get a directory. You just need to unzip that folder and you can start using it. But it is not a really good idea to do that. Just install it, because we will be using it like system wide. And if you install it as a standalone, it will be automatically be installed in the system environment. You don't have to worry about that. So I have already downloaded to save some time. Go here and in the downloads folder, I have this Git, right? So I can say Git. We'll say yes. Now remember this installation process. It is really important so that you don't make any mistake. Basically, we want to go to the overall. See, it is installing in program file Git, right? In the portable, you can select where you want to save it. But here also I can like browse and save it, but let it be in the program file. Yeah. And then it will say additional icon on the desktop. No, and then I don't want the Git GUI. I want the Git bash. You can have both of them. What it will do is when you right click, you will get a right click menu for open Git bash here, and open Git GUI here. I will not use GUI. And then select add a Git bash profile to the Windows terminal, so that you can get it from the Windows terminal also. That is this terminal right here, open in terminal, right? And I will recommend you to use terminal, Windows terminal instead of CMD. We have already seen how to use terminal. So Git, and then here I want you to select for at least Notepad++ or Visual Studio Code. I will be going with Visual Studio Code. Just everything should be by default. Just click on next, next, next. And here make sure that this is selected. Use Minty. Okay, instead of use Windows default console, use Minty. Okay. And also this enable symbolic link. Just let it install. So basically what happens is that when you have a GitHub profile, you can use that, like a lot of websites use that can deploy your website directly from the GitHub also. In GitHub, you will have access to create a HTML, CSS, JavaScript website. You can get a URL that you can share with your college or everyone. Okay. And everyone can see what project you have created using HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. In GitHub, only and only HTML, CSS, and JavaScript is hosted for free. That is hosting. You can save any type of file you want, but for hosting, only HTML, CSS, and JavaScript is there. We will be seeing how to do that also, so that you can create your, let us say, a portfolio website in HTML, CSS, JavaScript. You can host it on the GitHub. You can install, it will take some time. Okay. So this click this and click on launch Git bash. Then it will install the Minty terminal. Okay. So this terminal is called Minty that we have installed using Git. Here I will say, let's see. So if I say control plus plus, I can change the text size so that you guys can see. I will say git -v to get the version of Git. That means Git is not successfully installed on my system. And one thing I will tell you, instead of like saying close, always prefer using exit. It is just my preference, but you guys can do it also. It is really good the way to do it. Okay, so we have installed the Git. Now, next thing that I want to do is I want to set up something. So I have checked the version. We can use Git -v or Git -- version. Next, you want to do is you want to set up the global user. So I will say Git config. Now I will open my project, and in this project I have this running, right? So I will close it for now. And what I will do is I will say Control-Shift-V to paste that. And here I will change the name to Yash. I will basically use the username that I have created. That will be much more preferable. Okay. In the GitHub when we are creating it. Okay, I will say that. Okay, so Git is not recognized. That is because this terminal was already running. I want to open a new terminal. Activated environment is already activated. Now I can say this, and I will say right. Let's see the okay, I will exit it and check my system environment. ENV. Yeah. So system environment variable. Sometimes what happened is that these are the terminal integrated into the Visual Studio Code, right? So they are not able to catch something. I think it is not, yeah, so it is not added to environment. But there is one more thing that you can do. Basically, open the file, this file, right? This file where I have my project. I will right click. So I will right click. It says open Git bash here, right? This is basically telling me, I am telling that I want to open the Minty terminal, which has Git. Okay. See how different terminals work. This is also important to learn. So instead of my regular CMD, I have yash2@del. That is my username on this system. And this is the name of my system. And then it says mingg64. And then the folder that I'm currently in. What I want is I will check if I can access Git from the Minty terminal. Yes, I can. If I cannot, then I will basically go to system environment. I have already installed Git in program file, right? So go to program file, Git bin, and add it. But for me, I'm good enough to I'm okay with using this. So what I will do is I will say step this one. So what happened is that because I selected it, it was copied. This. So I will say, I think it is paste. So here I will say that my username that I have created. You don't have to give the username, but it is good idea so that you can know like what user you are currently logged in as. So this is done. Second I will do is git config global email shift insert will paste it instead of control shift V or control V, we have shift insert in the GitHub. And here I will give the email that I used to register. GitHub.com. Okay. Sorry, gmail.com. Now, what I can do is, so basically, if I go here, so there is a really simple way to do this. That is, click on create repository. Like this will tell you what commands you need to run. Okay. So let me give it a repository name. It can be anything, but it should not be same as other repository that are already available in your account. Okay. It doesn't matter if that repository is available in someone else's account, but in your account, this name should not be there. Food, let's say order app. Okay. We will say food order app is available. In the description, I will just call it so that for later I can say that food order application in Django and MySQL, right? I will for now keep it public, but prefer to use it for private, right? When it is your code, you don't want like anyone to come to your account and see what you are coding. Choose private. But by default, keep it public, I will say. Don't click on add a readme file. Ignore this. Okay. But yeah, you can choose a license. I will say GNU license for now, GNU license. That is free. Anyone can use my code and make changes. Git ignore, I will ignore it, but we'll see what this is later. In that, I will say create repository. Okay, so I have a license file, right? Okay, you will not get it like that. Sorry. So again, I will show you like how you can get that code. It will be much more better for you, right? So I have a food order repository, right? But I can let us say I create another repository. Now I cannot say food order app. It will say repository already exists. What I will do is food order. That's it. I will say that food ordering app in Django and MySQL. I will keep it public and don't select anything. Then I will create. Now it says quick setup. That means GitHub is telling you what you need to do to set up your account. Okay. But remember, it is not telling you how to set the global user or email. If you don't set the username and user email for the global, you will get error that it is not specified which user is making the changes. So now, if you are creating a new repository, this is a new repository, right? So we will be executing this code. Else, I will be executing this code. Let us say repository already exists. Okay, I have already created it. I have shared the repository with you, added you in my repository. If you want to commit it, then you have to run these 3 commands. Okay. You will get over all the commands what they are. But for now, what I want is I want all of you to take a screenshot of this thing. Okay, I will wait for 10 seconds. I want you to take the screenshot and remember these commands because all of you will use these commands on the daily basis if you are doing some programming testing every day. So I will wait for 10 seconds. Take screenshot right now of this thing. Okay, so I hope everyone has taken a screenshot, but if you have not, I will take a screenshot from myself also. Yeah. Now in field, I will just say Control V, delete, Control V. Okay. Yeah. So I have got this. I will share it with you later. But what it is saying that echo hashtag food order, and then it is saying that it want to write this particular thing inside readme.md, and when you say this, it will create a new file. Okay, so this is like a scripting. Okay, in some command line, when you want to create a file, what you can do is echo double quote, the write nothing, and then say double arrow, name of file, it will create that file. And whatever you have written inside the double quote, it will be printed in that file also. We have already created a readme file, right? See this, we already have a readme file. So I will not be bothering to create a readme file, but you can create it and then change it later. Then it is saying that you want to write git in it. Come here and I will say that. So first I will say ls. Now I have this folders. This is the correct folder. I will say that git init. Initializes empty git repository in this specific folder. If I come here, now you can see that. Yeah, because the hidden file is not visible here, but I have enabled. You can go to view, show hidden file. Okay, if you are on Windows 10, you will have that that big drop down at the header, what we call it, the header or tabs, right? There is an option of options. It is literally saying options or view. Go to view. There you will have a checkbox of show hidden file. Click on it. You will see the hidden file. So it says .git. Okay, I will just zoom in. So it says .git, right? So it has created a git file. It has already some files. We don't need to care about what these files are. So this has been initialized. Now, what next thing that I want to do is, I want to say git add readme. Now it is saying that they want to add readme file inside git, but I want to add all the files that I have. So what I will do is I will say git add dot. Dot means root everything. If I say this, then it has not given me anything. But if I say git status, it is giving me a lot of files, like, right? And it has like skipped some of the file because it was too big of a list. Okay, I can say like git add dot to add all the file, git status to check the status if everything is added. Now this has been staged. When I say git add dot, that means every file is staged. Now I want to commit it. I want to commit it as my first commit. So I will say git commit m is necessary flag, and then I need to give something like, I want to write it, so that I want to write a message for myself to say what I did. So basically, I will say that version 1 created project, or I can say that and I can say that version 1. Okay, then I can say that first comment, to say that this is my first comment. Now press enter. Now it says created, right? So that means it has created. Next thing I will do, there are branches. There is a main branch which is used for the deployment. There is another development branch. Now these branches are not fixed. You can create as many branches as you want and name it as however you want. Okay, I'm just calling it development to let myself know that this is the development where developers are working. There might be some other branch that I can work on. Merge it with the developer branch and then merge it with the main branch, push it to Netlify or something. For now, we will only be working with the one branch because you are alone working on the project, right? You don't need to care about different branches, but basically you can create a branch. You will see what is the syntax for that, so that you can try it out on your own. But for now, you can say that git branch. Now, everything that is happening is on your local system. The commit, the changing, staging, and all the branching is on your local system. It will only reflect on the web browser when we push it. There is something called as push and pull commit stage. We'll see what those are in some time. But for now, remember git branch, now hyphen capital M and then main, the name of branch. I want to select this as my main branch. So whatever I'm pushing, it will be pushed to the main branch. Here, if I let us say git branch M, and then I can say master or development, then it will be setting that branch as main. And every time I commit it or push the code, it will be pushed to that branch only. And person who is checking the git and how it is working, only he will be able to make some changes to it. So now I want to add the repository that I have created, and they have given me a link. Okay, so I will say git remote add, and then I will say now add was to add local file, remote add is to use to add a remote repository. This repository is created in remote, right? So that is right. So GitHub provides you with this kind of functionality. When you just install the Git, you can only manage it locally. So again, shift insert to paste it. Okay, you don't need to change anything. This is see the link is correct. They are giving you the link. Else, I will show you how to find the link if you miss this part. I have added the remote repository. I will say git push u origin mail. Paste, and then I will say u origin mail. Git push u origin mail branch. Now I think it will ask me to check my GitHub account to log in so that I can push it to GitHub. It is saying that permission to denied from okay. So I have okay, so I cannot do this because I have already logged in as yes channel 25. That is my Hackweather account that I'm using. So what I will do is if I just do this thing, right? So git push u main origin and refresh it, all the code will be visible here. But what I will do is I will show you how to use GitHub. You want to say is download GitHub. I don't want to log out from my account, from my company account. So because I have I got access from the company repository, right? So if I log out, I have to set up everything again. So just go to, this is really simple. You don't even need to remember the codes. You can just download this software and then play around with it without in the GUI. You don't need to log in or anything. Let us say, sorry, not login. You don't want to enter any kind of command. You can directly use it from GUI. So let it download for a second. So after downloading, we will use this to push. No issues. I can actually push it on my different account that I have, but instead of doing that, let's just download the GitHub. There is something called as SSH. Okay, let's see. SSH is like secure shell. So what happens is that you can get SSH key that you can use to log in into a remote server, or let us say use it to authorize your GitHub account. Okay, so we get this account. When you'll be working in a company, they will provide you with that, and you have to give your own SSH key. They will authenticate, and then you will get access. That is also possible. Or if you are on a GitHub, you can directly give access to an existing account, because an existing account will already be verified. So again, I will show you how to download GitHub desktop. I will say open file. Take some time to now install. When you say open file, just let it install. Don't do anything because it is initially installing in the background. Then it will show you this information. So while it is installing, we can continue with this. Yeah. So you can create a Git folder, basically create a folder, go to that folder, and then you can initialize that we have done. Git initialize will give you some kind of this reward. And then you can create and add a new file. Basically, we saw how to do that. So you just created a first local Git repo that is .git, but it is empty for now, right? So you need to add some file. So what you need to do is you can, like, let's say as to list the file and then say git add. Yeah, so sign into GitHub. Now I can sign into my new account. That like this thing. This is basically thing that we have already done or we have already discussed. So I will discuss some of them are some important things like git ignore and security and push and pull. We will discuss that, but this git status we have already seen, right? Yeah, finish. Okay. So now I see your repository food order and food order app and food order, right? So what I can do is I can like create a new repository from my hard drive. So I can do that. Name the repository, give a description, check the path, and then I can decide if I want license or get new file or not. Or I can clone this file on my hard drive, copy paste the files that I have in my food order app, that are if I copy paste that file in that repository and then come back to GitHub, it will like, give me access to make changes. But what I will do is I will say, create a new repository. Food order app, and then I will say that, food order app in Django MySQL. I will select the local path. SST. This is the folder that I want. And then in license, I will say create repository. Nice. It will take some time. See, everything happened without entering any command. Publish to your repository to GitHub. This has added the file, committed the file. Now I will add a summary. Let us say first commit web app version 1, right? Or I can say that first commit, and I will, in the description of this commit, I will say this is web app version 1. We say publish repository. This not make it a public repo instead of, if you say like keep this code private, it will create a private repo, but I will want it to be public. Okay, so it has done this. Okay, so if I click on view on GitHub, now I have this files, right? So what I want is I want to add some files, right? We need to add it. Let's see. Check, let me check. Okay, you need to do this. What you want is you want to copy everything. Don't copy Git and this. Copy it inside here. We just want to paste it, paste everything. They have changed the setting. That means when you create a new repo, it will create an empty repo by default, and you have to copy paste anyway. Okay, so we should have just gone for like cloning the repository and then pasting it there. It has unnecessarily like created another folder. But we'll copy it for now. You can see that it was around 50 MB. So Django and everything will take around 50 MB. So when we are deploying, we will see that we are at least getting 100 MB of storage, right? In whatever deployment we want. So while it is copying, I will come here. So basically, you don't need to do all of this. Just say git push add and then authorize your Git account, and that will do. So that one line of code, that is it. And then refresh your browser, it will do it. But because I have already logged in from different account, I need to do these things, right? But you don't have to. But see, these things are good for experience when you are going through these things, what you can do. So we added, and then there is staging environment. So one of the core function of Git is the concept of staging environment and the commit. As you are working, you may be adding, editing, removing the files, but whenever you hit a milestone or finish a project, you should add the files to the staging environment. So every time, let us say you are done, yeah, this is all I want. Then what you can do is you can stage that and stage file that are already that are ready to commit, so that you are ready to commit this on your GitHub account. So they are just adding up the file and then doing the same thing that we have already done. And commit, we have seen, we can say git commit m, and then the what commit, give it a name of commit. Similarly, so git branch. So working with git branches, this is important. So in git, a branch is new separate version of main repository, right? So let's say you have a large project, you need to update the design on it. So without git, what you will do is make copies of all the relevant file to avoid impacting the live version. Start working with design and find that code depending on the code in other file that also need to be changed. Make copies of like dependent file as well, making sure that every file dependency reference to the correct name, right? So that you have one folder, you will copy it to another folder, then you will make changes, and whatever changes you have made, if it is working, then you will come back to the main folder and then make changes. That is what you will be doing. But with Git, what you can do is you can simply add another branch, make changes, and then merge the branches together. So basically that they are saying that you can create like git branch, and then the name of branch will create another branch. And at the end, you can say that git checkout, then the name of, then it will be like, switch to the branch or new branch, it will switch to that. Whereas in our case, we selected that this is the branch that I want to set as the main, and here I want to commit the changes, right? But locally, you need to say checkout and then the name of branch. And then git hyphen all or git add dot will add all the files. Next is git branch merge. So we have like let us say they are just giving you a scenario like we have merge fix ready, and so let's merge the master and the emergency fix branch. First we need to change the master branch. So like git checkout master. So from that dev environment, you are back to the main branch, right? That is the main that you are pushing the code. Then I will say that git merge, name of the second the branch, it will merge it, and then you can say that git branch d emergency fix. Like as master and emergency are essentially the same, now we can delete the emergency branch. That means it will not delete by default, you have to delete it by yourself, or you can continue to keep it and make the changes there also and commit it to the main branch, and then use the main branch to deploy. There is conflicts, and they're saying that to just check out and do this thing, but you should not be having these things, right? Second is git ignore file. So let us say you have a log file, temporary file, hidden file, or personal file. That means if I go here, now I have this project file, like my environment file. I don't want my environment file to be visible inside GitHub. I can say I can create a new file called as .git ignore, and then I can type project name slash. It will not use whenever I'm saying that git add dot, it will skip that file and add everything else. But I will be adding the project environment so that you guys can know what the structure is, and let us say you are having some issue, you can use my environment also. But basically you need the same version, okay, if you want to use it. For now, it is okay. Let's see. Yeah, so it is added now, and here I can see now it has uh, got the changes, 54 changes. In the summary, I can say first comment. In description, I can say that this is Weber version 1. And now if I say commit to main, see here, this blue color button, commit to main. If I click on it, then it will start committing. And now I will say push. Remember, we had git push origin, right? So this is the same, but using the GUI, graphical user interface. I will say push origin. Now it will push to my new account that I have created because I have logged into GitHub desktop using that account. Now I will say view on GitHub. You guys have all the files that I have created. You have the README, which has all the steps. Okay. What I can do is I now remember I said that let us say you directly go there and you don't know the link. Then if you want to clone it, you can say git clone and you can like give this URL and clone this entire GitHub on your computer. You just want one command git clone the URL and you will be able to download this entire repository as a folder in your system. Then we have SSH also, like I don't have any public SSH key, but there is again a private for authentication. I can say open with GitHub desktop or I can download this entire file as a zip file. Okay. And it will have all the folders. So like, let us say I go to food order home. Okay. And here I can go to view.py. You have all the code that I have written for the view.py. I can go to static and I can also have like my db.sqlite file. I have not used db.sqlite. I'm using MySQL. That is why it is empty for now. You can also have a models.py. This is all the code that I have written and I can share it with you. So I will share the link in the chat. This link. Confirm if everyone has got it. Okay, just open the file, see if you can like check it. I think it will be public, but if it is not public, I will like create a public repo and then let you know. So you guys can let me know if it is if you can get it or not. Because we only have one branch, it will say one branch. And also what I can do is if I just refresh it, I can also change a file. So see this pencil icon, if I click on it, then I can make changes and I can save those changes. It will say commit changes in the GitHub itself. Okay. So I hope that this concept made sense to everyone, how to use Git and GitHub, then how to use GitHub desktop, what are the basic commands. I will share these commands with you also that I have taken as this, how to use Minty. Like let us say, even if there is some problem with your Git, you can use Minty to always use GitHub. Okay, these are all the files. You just need to install Git and GitHub. So let's move on. Yeah, so git ignore is like you can say touch git ignore. This basically will create a new file in Linux. That is what we say touch. I think in PowerShell also it works. So we saw GitHub. Next is we also saw push, right? So let's look at the pull. Yeah, pull branch from GitHub. So now like let us say let's pull from our GitHub repository again so that our code is up to date. So now our main branch is up to date and then we can see that there is new branch available on the GitHub. So let us say I have created a branch, I can say git pull and we'll pull all the files. And if you are like, having any difficulties, you can simply, I would say just go to this Google Bard. I think ChatGPT, you need to like, search it, right? Let us say you want to, you have to like, make an account or something. In Google Bard, you just need a Google account and you can say that what is pull in Git and GitHub. I will explain what it is. Okay. So in Git and GitHub pull is a command that updates your local repository with the changes from the remote repository. Let us say there is a developer who has worked on the changes and he has updated the change in the remote repo on the github.com. But you want to apply those changes on your local repository, then you can say git pull. That's it. Just git and pull, and it will make update your local file. Right? It is really easy to understand a lot of things now on. So let's now move on to understanding what is server and VMware, or let's say cloud server, because tomorrow we will be needing that. So if I just go to another page. Okay. So let us say there is a system. So what happens is that there is a data center. Okay. Every company, not every company, some companies are cloud-based, but there are some companies who might have a data center, a server inside data center. So let us say there is a data center here, and the data center is located in, let us say, in Mumbai. Okay. In Mumbai, there is a Tata data center. Okay. So what your company has lent a server there. So what will happen is that there is a server rack, and inside that server rack, there are multiple server blades. Server blades are basically like your CPU. When you had like desktop, there is monitor, CPU, mouse, and keyboard. So basically CPU without any display. And there are multiple blades, okay, inside the data center. And there are multiple server racks, and inside rack there will be multiple blades. Okay. Let us say I have this blade. Okay. So what happened initially was that lot of people they say there is, let us say, server. I am installing Microsoft server, or let us say Ubuntu server, or let us say any Linux server that I want. That will be running on this server. Okay. Then what will happen is that if I want to access, I have to use this server IP. Server IP. Okay. And if I go to the server IP, I can access the web app that I have created. Okay. Then there is something called as VMware, which what it does is, so inside this one server blade, okay, inside this particular server blade, you can have multiple operating system, not just one Ubuntu server, instead of multiple Ubuntu server. And they will all think that they are actual servers, so that you can run multiple application on one server. Okay. And there is something called as cloud development. In cloud, what happens is that they use virtualization to give you some resources from their server. So that is what we will be doing tomorrow. So tomorrow what will happen is that every time I say that, let us say I am using Netlify. Okay. Every time I create an application in Netlify, what happens is that it allocates some space to me, let us say storage and RAM. Okay, that so that I can run my application using RAM, a storage so that I can store my file, and also some other things, let us say networking, or let us say access to every DNS, or let us say domain name. Okay, it gives me that so that I can create my application and store it on their server. Okay, but on their server they cannot change anything, and I will have access because I'm only using a part of their server. That is possible using cloud computing. Okay, or let us say there is a server in their data center that they are allocating some space to me using virtualization. In your company, when you are working in an IT company, there might be a position known as VMware administrator or Linux administrator. So what they do is they allocate some space, or let us say an operating system to you, developer, where you guys can install your application and make it public. That is called as deployment. There are three ways. Either you have one server for yourself, only that application will run, on application that you want to run will run on that server. Either there is a server and there is a administrator, which is like using VMware or some other virtualization functionality to create a multiple or operating system, and he is providing you with one operating system and you are using it. Third is using cloud. That is again using virtualization to allocate some space from his server to you. Okay, so we'll be seeing that example tomorrow when we'll be working with Amazon EC2 instances, right? So we'll be seeing that, so that you will be allocated an operating system. but that operating system is already working on a server, but it will look like that this server belongs to you. Okay, it will like feel like it. Then you can also see like the amount of RAM you have on your server, amount of storage that you have on your server. We will see that tomorrow. But understand, it doesn't matter if there is a standalone server where you are using everything, or there is a VMware and you are just using a part of the server, or let us say you are using let us say cloud computing platforms such as Amazon or AWS to like get a specific what I can say resource from a server, or you are using Netlify or Heroku. You are in the end deploying the application, right? So we'll be seeing how to deploy the application on first will be on things like Heroku and Netlify. Second part will be how to deploy it on like AWS EC2 instance. Netlify and Heroku have automated all the stuff. You just need to follow a fixed procedure to deploy it. Amazon EC2 and let us say VMware or actual server, they all have same thing. Because the moment you are able to get access to an operating system, you have to follow the same procedure. Okay, for anything. Any networking related thing will be managed by some other person. You don't have to worry about that. So we'll be seeing how to deploy our application in both ways. Okay. Third will be creating PHP website and then deploying it on this. That is 000 web host. Now 000 web host is like they have a server in their data center, and when you create an account and create like let us say application or project, they allocate some space to you. Same thing is happening, but they have some more feature. You have something called a cPanel. In cPanel, you can create your remote MySQL database. We will see that tomorrow, how to create a remote MySQL database. So from for this, like in the last 8-9 days, what we have been doing is we use XAMPP server to install MySQL. Tomorrow, you will see that when we will be using Amazon EC2, we have to install our own MySQL. Okay, but in Heroku and Netlify, you will see that there will be different functionality, and in 000 web host, you will see that there is a different functionality. So we will be seeing all of these three things tomorrow, and that is why I'll be creating a small PHP project to like show you how cPanel works. Okay, so tomorrow we will be like working with a lot of things. So be ready. I might have to extend some session, but make sure to join tomorrow's session, because tomorrow will be really important session. If you miss tomorrow's session, basically you are missing entire part of deployment part. So for today, so that tomorrow we don't have to cover this part, we will be concluding the Django part, so that tomorrow we can start with PHP. So this is an article that I have found, like how Django works. They explain really well how Django works. So we'll be looking at it. So because we are done with Django, let's conclude it. So to truly appreciate Django, you will need to peek under the hood and see the various moving parts inside. This can be both enlightening and overwhelming. If you are already familiar with the following information, you might want to skip this section, right? So there is a browser. If I just open it, yeah. So see, there is a browser, correct? And there is a request session, request and response session. Okay. Whenever I'm making a request, it goes to the web server. Tomorrow we'll be having our own web server in Amazon EC2, Netlify, Heroku, or either a cPanel. Okay. So we have our web server. Then we have a file system attached with the web server, so that I can store my web files. Then it will, the moment my request goes, let us say I'm giving a request for yashupadhyay.com. So there is a request from the browser. It will go to web server. Web server will send that request to the urls.conf. Okay. URL will configure and look for a specific view. So let us say on that specific URL, let us say yashupadhyay.com and slash nothing. So that is empty, like we created it. So that is here. This empty one. Okay. So, and this has a view that that is home. Okay. So it will look at the view number 1, 2, or n number of view there might be. It will look at a view. Then it will do two things. That is, it will connect to the model, that specific view. It will go into the database, and then after, if there is some information that it needs, it will bring it back to view. View will render the template with the data. Okay. And after the template is rendered, it will come back to the web server, and then it will be sent back as a response. Okay. So I think this concludes everything about Django, right? We have explained, so, and all these steps that I have written here, yeah, read me. This is basically steps for this. I just wanted to show you a diagrammatically representation so that you can understand what is going on under the hood, how Django actually works. So I think this has cleared a lot of confusion that you might have, and you are ready to work on your own Django projects. Basically, you just need to, like, create a website, food order website, this functionality. UI might change. You can go with any UI that you want. You can, if you have learned CSS, you can go for CSS. If you liked Bootstrap, you can go for Bootstrap. You can change UI as you want, but mostly everything will be same, right? So with this, Django is done. But let's look at, like, how actually, what is the main difference between Django and PHP? Because tomorrow we'll be working with PHP, right? Django is a web framework. PHP was made for web development. Okay. So with advent of technology, there are many technology and frameworks that have come into the market. Okay. So they have given, yeah. So basically, difference between Django and PHP is that Python is a Python web framework. Like, it is a web framework which uses Python. Okay. It helps in the speed development. We will see that when we are actually working with PHP, we have to do everything manually by ourselves, and it takes a lot of time. Tomorrow we'll be having a case study of a project that our company has done, Hackweather Limited, on the PHP. Then you will be saying that it is actually really, like, hectic, but it is also really simple if you understand the fundamental. And it says that you can have a speedy development. It will, like, registration, login, and security, everything is covered by Django. And the systematic design, the design is systematic. But you can change. We saw that overall setting can be changed, and you can make Django your own. You don't have to follow these things. Like, a template was in the app, but we saw that we don't want it in the app. I want it in the root directory, and I was able to change it after changing the template, the settings. Django first started by Adrian and Simon Wilson in 2003. We don't need to, and it is open source. PHP is a development language which is developed by, like, Rasmus Lardorf in 1994. It stands for the hypertext preprocessor. Okay, and it integrates with SQL Server and cPanel, like, hosting. So basically, Django is Python framework, and hence Python needs to be installed on the system. Django requires Python 2.6.5 minimum if you want to use Django. Current version is 3.11.4. Yeah, 3.11.4. And once this is done, you can go ahead and install Django. That is pip install Django, and installation of Django is easy. Python is being platform independent. It has one of the packages that work everywhere. That means platform independent is, it doesn't matter if it is in Android phone, mobile phone, or Linux, Mac OS, or Windows. It will, the packages in the pip will work everywhere. Like, you can say pip install Django, and on the Windows, pip install Django on the Mac OS, it will give you same package. Then you just need to CD and CD into the project that you have created, and then you can start working using Django admin. PHP is like, you just need to, like, say PHP will work with all the web software database. It support all famous databases. Like, let us say you can connect any database you want. Oracle, MySQL, or let us say MySQL, Oracle have MySQL, but there is also Oracle SQL and Microsoft SQL. You can connect any SQL, and there is a parser. Parser need to be installed in order. That is basically, you need to install PHP, but because we have installed XAMPP, PHP is already installed. MySQL is also already installed. So basically, the main difference is that when you install Django, it will install a lot of things for you. Registration, login, and a lot of configuration that you can do. In PHP, you just have PHP, Apache server, and MySQL, and then you have to start by your, like, you will get an empty directory, and you will have to create everything on your own. But tomorrow we will see that it is actually really easy, and it can be easy and hard at the same time. Okay, so tomorrow we will see that, and we will be also deploying our website. So again, I think we can conclude the session here. Right, sir? Okay, so I think we can conclude the session here. So again, thank you for joining everyone. Okay, so we will continue tomorrow, and tomorrow is really important session. Tomorrow is the actually last date. So just come tomorrow. You will learn a lot of things about web development in general, like other than Django. We focused mainly on Django, HTML, CSS, JavaScript, but tomorrow you will be learning a lot about PHP, a lot about web development, and it is really important to learn those things, right? Because if you don't learn those things, you will be like be lost, because tomorrow we'll be seeing how what makes a difference, so that once you understand these things, you will be easily able to get everything. So you can work on, let us say, any framework, not just Django, or even PHP has a framework of Laravel. Just like how Django, you get all the pre-installed stuff, in Laravel also you get a lot of pre-installed stuff. You can work with that if you get the basics. So tomorrow join. Tomorrow we'll be concluding our training session, and tomorrow we'll be also deploying our project that we have. Okay, so thank you for joining. We'll end here for the day.